Hello and welcome to another interview at Algebra Snap.
With us today is Mr. Krawitz.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello. Um, what do you do for your work, Mr. Krawitz?
So I'm an attorney with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Cool. So do you like your job?
I do. I like it a lot. My job. I've been there 13 years, and initially I spent the first 5 years doing investigations, investigating people who were violating the law, like committing insider trading, things like that. And then for like the last 7 or 8 years, I've been working on what's known as policy, helping write rules for mutual funds and hedge funds and other and investment advisors. And I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I thought I'd just do it for a year or two at the SEC, and I've been there for 13 years.
Oh, wow. Um,
So what's your favorite part about your job?
There's a lot I like about it. I really like my colleagues. I like the work. I like the work that I do. I think it's really interesting. Just working on things that are sometimes in the newspapers or kind of on the cutting edge. But I think most of what I like about it is the mission. I like the fact that I feel like I'm helping people and helping taxpayers, and the work they do kind of helps people with their savings and helps them protect their savings. So I would say really the mission and just like waking up every morning and knowing that, like, feeling like I'm doing something good.
okay. Um, what skills do you think are required to do your job?
So I think the most important skill for being a lawyer is being able to write well, um, be it, just like a short email or a memo or, stuff for court. I think writing is really kind of the stock and trade for lawyers. So I think that's probably the most important thing I do. I would say the second most important thing is um, taking complicated issues that come up and being able to kind of figure out what the real issue is, and then being able to break that down and kind of explain it to others in a way that's not so complicated.
Okay, so how would you say math relates to your job?
So it's funny. I went to law school because I didn't want to do math, but math I think relates to everything these days. So part of what we do for coming up with rules and regulations and policy and the mutual fund and hedge fund space is we work with economists to collect data because everything we do is data driven. So we try to look at the costs and the benefits and like how much a new rule is going to cost industry or how much it's going to benefit people by protecting people or saving them money. And nowadays, everything is about collecting lots and lots of data and lots of data points and trying to bring them all together and then figure out, how that data is going to help us. So I work closely with economists and statisticians and other folks who are really smart in this area, but I also need to understand statistics, at least a basic understanding of statistics and basic data collection to be able to figure out how to best write our policy.
Interesting. Um, what tools do you use in your job?
Obviously, the computer is like probably the number one tool. We use it for everything from kind of Excel spreadsheet charts and charts to kind of more sophisticated statistical programs to collect their data, and then email and like Jabber or like like instant messaging are the two other ways I kind of communicate with my colleagues. So those are really understanding the computer. Um, is really probably the most important tool that we use.
Okay. And how difficult would you say your job is?
I think my job requires a lot of experience. I think the area of the law that we work in is complicated, and it's kind of areas that kind of an expertise that kind of builds upon itself. So you need to have both experience understanding, the legal side of how to understand regulations and rules, but also more importantly, to have some understanding of how the business world works. And I have some experience that I worked in the private sector, and when I did work in the private sector, I understood how things work from the business side, and I think that really helps me with my job. Um, so I would say it's pretty complicated, but you just put in the hard work and you start to learn it.
So what kind of person would you recommend your job to?
I'd recommend my job to anyone that doesn't mind spending a lot of time kind of digging into issues and trying to understand things. And I guess people who are inquisitive is probably the best type of person for someone with my job.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Mr. Krawitz.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, guys.
And thank you, viewers, for watching this episode of Algebra Snap.
Yeah.